This is Gray Zone Warfare, and yeah, you can see the performance right there. This game seems like it's gonna destroy my GPU. So today we're gonna be testing it out on an RX 6600 paired with a Ryzen 5 3600 and 16GB of DDR4 3200 MHz RAM. So let me show you the graphics settings first. I'm using epic settings right here. Everything is to the maximum. Looks like it's an Unreal Engine game, so it has those graphical settings, those generic graphical settings for Unreal Engine. As you can see right here, we have everything to epic at 1080p, unlimited frame rate, and TSR is currently enabled at epic. I'm just gonna try TSR first because this game doesn't have TAA, and it only has these options: TSR, FSR2 or FSR. It just says FSR, not FSR2, and it also says there that it has XeSS. Alright, so we're gonna just start counting the frames here, and I'm gonna huge stutters. I think I'm totally VRAM bound, so that's gonna happen. We're actually using epic settings. Maybe this game requires more than 8 GB of VRAM to be able to play this game at epic settings. So we're gonna find the sweet spot for it in a short while, but first let's start counting the frames. And as you guys can see, we're getting like 24 FPS, which is not pretty good. Yeah, but the games are getting frequently more demanding in 2024 these days, and they require to have a lot of VRAM these days, so it's not very surprising that you guys are seeing this performance today. Okay, so let's just try to move out of here. I don't know what we're supposed to do in this game. I'm gonna figure out afterwards. I just launched the game and I started recording. So yeah, as you guys can see, our GPU usage is quite nice. It's in the 90s, which is okay, and now seems like we are totally VRAM bound, so there is no use trying this. I'm gonna go ahead and immediately turn on FSR2. Maybe it's gonna fix this stuttering and decrease the amount of VRAM required for the game to be run at epic settings. So let's try FSR, and seems like there is frame generation in this game. Yeah, so frame generation is turned on currently, guys. Let's apply these changes, and we have now FSR frame generation on and at quality settings. So let's first turn off frame generation. We're gonna first try without frame generation, and let's restart the game, and I'll be right back with you. Alright guys, so I've just restarted the game, and it doesn't seem like it's fixed anything. The game is still stuttering and lagging a lot. We're at 10 FPS, so seems like we're still getting a lot of VRAM bound. Okay, so yeah, what we're gonna try to do, let's just try to turn on frame generation here, and looks like epic settings are not even possible in this game. Okay, so let's try to turn on frame generation, which actually makes the game close to like 30 FPS at least. But FSR doesn't look pretty good in this game. As you guys can see, everything, the grass and stuff is pretty blurry. TSR was pretty sharp at when I tried it just now, but now FSR is looking really bad. Yeah, so there is no use trying these settings. I'm gonna turn down the settings, and I'll be right back with you guys. Okay? Alrighty guys. Alright guys, as you guys can see, we are now at high settings preset, and at high settings preset at TSR also enabled to high. Let me show you guys. These are all high settings. I've just enabled high settings preset here, and TSR is to high. Okay, so with high TSR and high settings preset, we're now getting in the 30s. So, and also the VRAM usage is kind of like 7.5 GB. It's not reaching 8 GB right now. So yeah, the game is getting a little bit stable. Maybe at medium settings we'll reach close to 60. Let's see what happens, but let's try to move from here. Let's try to move out. This is where the game actually broke previously on the epic settings. Let's try on high. What happens when I go here? Do I have a gun? Seems like I don't. And who the heck is this standing here? What is he doing? I don't know what he's doing. Maybe my gear is lost. I have to maybe start another match or something. But as you guys can see, the graphics game looks pretty. The grass and stuff, vegetation is pretty thick in this game, and seems like they've spent a lot of time in making this vegetation, because it's pretty dense compared to other games that usually come out. The games like this. Okay, so we're getting like in the 20s, and most of the times lower than 30 FPS. So I don't like it. I'm gonna try to use FSR immediately. And let's try to use FSR without frame generation first. Apply it on quality, and not much improvement, guys. I see not much improvement. And when I'm moving my mouse, this game has FSR 3, I think. So when I'm moving my mouse, I can see shimmeriness around the objects. And there is a weird kind of an edge to objects when I'm using FSR in this game. That's pretty weird. Also, this what the heck happened there? But the vegetation, as you guys can see, is pretty nice looking. So the game is pretty nice looking. I don't have I'm not fighting anyone at this time. Who's this flying the helicopter. But yeah, so the game looks pretty nice. Also, we're in the 30s now most of the times, about 30 FPS, but I wouldn't say it's pretty playable still. So let's just try to run it with frame generation. Yeah, so turn on frame generation here, and yeah, now it looks kind of smooth, but not so much with the input lag, I would say. Input lag is not pretty good, which is bound to be happening because our base frame rate was lower than 30 and close to 30 FPS. So yeah, for looking purposes, it's nice looking. Not so much for playing. Okay, so let's try and reach here. And what the heck happened? Did my game crash? No. That was a huge stutter. My 1%, 0.1% lows both have gone to 0. So this game is installed on an SSD, and what the heck was that? Alright guys, so what happened was the game actually crashed my whole system, and afterwards I didn't went ahead and test it further, but it looked like it was close to 60 FPS with frame generation. So that is not very good. I want a stable frame rate that is like at 60 FPS most of the times without frame generation. Alright, so first we're gonna try it with TSR, add medium with medium settings preset, and let's apply these settings, and let's go into the new match and let's find out how it performs. Alright guys, we are into the game again, and this time hopefully the game doesn't crash. But seems like they have not done a very good job optimizing the game. I'm also getting like these weird stutters and stuff, and my character is just teleporting around the map. I don't know what the heck is happening and how they're going to fix this. Maybe this is some server issue or something like that. But seems like at medium settings even, we're getting 7.6 gigabytes of VRAM usage, and the GPU usage is not to the maximum, but seems like this game is also very CPU bound, because as you guys can see, the CPU usage right there is at 80%, sometimes 80, sometimes 70%, and also it's not letting me move a lot. So I'm gonna still try to benchmark here, and for you guys I'm gonna still try to give you guys an idea how this game is gonna run on this system and these specs. But seems like now we are totally GPU bound. Also the CPU usage is maximum. The GPU usage and CPU usage both are getting hogged by the game. Okay, so something is pretty wrong with it. I don't know what the heck is going on. Okay, so we're at 46, 47, we're 42 FPS average while looking here and doing stuff here and moving in these bushes, and FPS actually increases. Okay, so yeah, let's jump, and my character teleports everywhere. Alright, so getting 44 FPS average. Let's go ahead now and apply some FSR. But at these settings guys, I can clearly observe that the game is becoming somewhat stable. Okay, FPS wise it's becoming somewhat stable. Now we're going to use FSR on quality, and let's try to benchmark now. Let's start counting the frames again, because my frame rate counter just totally became bad. Now I'm still lagging on the map. Let's just try to look up, down. While looking down, at least the frame rate increased to 60. So yeah, it doesn't seem like it's pretty good. What's this car doing here? Okay, I can just, what is this? Somebody's loot. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but TSR and medium was giving more FPS than FSR at quality. I don't know what the heck was that. So let's apply, we're at 40 FPS average right now with FSR and quality. Let's apply some frame generation on it. They've given us frame generation option in this game. That's pretty good, because they knew the game is not going to run very nicely, and that's why they've given us the option. The developers know everything. They've made the game, so they know that the game is not going to run pretty good for people. So they've given us the option for frame generation. We might as well utilize it, because in the future maybe they're gonna improve the game. Is still in early access, and for those of you guys who were asking for me to benchmark this game, this is here, the video is right here. Okay, so getting now in the 70s. Previously with the high settings preset we were getting like in the 60s, and most of the times dropping into the 50s with frame generation. Now we're getting into the 70s. Not a very good look for the game, because as you guys can see, I am stuttering and I am lagging a lot because of server issues, I think. Yeah, and I cannot find anyone. I don't know what you're supposed to do in the game. And what the heck is this? Why is this stuff flying around? And I cannot enter here also. Let's try to move here. We're getting 73 FPS average. At least the frame rate is pretty consistent with frame generation, at least. Alright, so guys, let's go ahead now to low settings preset, and I'll be right back with you. Alrighty guys, we are at low settings preset now. Let me show you guys here. This is low settings preset, and resolution scaling, I'm just gonna turn it to 100. We're at low settings preset, and TSR is currently turned off. Alright, so as you guys can see, 1080p low settings preset, we're getting like 40 FPS average. If I turn on TSR and turn it to low, let's try that. because I've tried TSR with every setting here, so we're gonna keep it consistent here. Let's try TSR to medium, and I don't know what's going on. And now the FPS is lesser than before. With TSR, something is really weird with this game's engine, guys. I don't know what's going on. So at least we are above 30 now, most of the times. Let's try to just start counting the frames here again, and let's try to move here. Yeah, now it's dropping into the 30s. What the heck is going on? At least the GPU usage is towards the maximum. This game is totally seeming like it's very unoptimized. Even at low settings preset, the game is not performing very good. Previously, when I jumped from here, the game had a huge stutter. Let's try it again. This time seems like it didn't. Yeah, so getting 32 FPS here, 32 FPS average. Alright, so let's try now with FSR on quality, and the frame generation is gonna be turned off first. Alright, so FSR on quality, let's start counting the frames again. Low settings preset, we're getting like in the 40s now. Okay, the FPS is pretty nice, but same could not be said for our server, which is acting up. It became stable for a while, but now it's again stuttering. So maybe the game is new and this just launched today, and that's why the servers are not performing very good. But the look of the game and everything, performance wise and also the server wise, the game is not performing very good in my opinion, and they should be able to fix it, I think. And they should be fixing the game and then launching it, but nonetheless they have launched it in early access, and early access already means that you are getting a pretty early look for the game. 30 experience points earned. So what we're supposed to do here? Can I open the door? I cannot look inside the window. Window, close, open. Oh my god, I closed the window and now it's not giving me an option to. Alright, what the heck is going on, guys? Is this even playable? Alright, so it looks like we're getting like 44 FPS average. So let's just go ahead and enable frame generation here, because with frame generation I think it will be close to 80, which is doubling the FPS. No, it's close to 70. So let's start counting the frames again and move into another area. Seems like 79 FPS, 78. Pretty nice with frame generation. At least with base 40 FPS, I'm not observing much of input lag, as I was previously doing with 20 base FPS. So now at least it's somewhat playable. If the server issues get fixed, then the game is gonna be playable, I think. If the server issues get fixed, actually. If they don't, then it's a different story. Alright, so I think that tells you and gives you the idea of how this game is gonna run on your systems and these specs, at least for the performance side. If they fix the issues, and now the server is again fixed and now it's again borked. So if these issues get fixed, then I think you guys will be able to play it pretty consistently at low Fs with frame generation and with FSR2 or FSR3, sorry. So yeah, that tells you this whole story, I think, and I hope you enjoyed today's video. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.